Now, we all enjoy a good scary movie. Well, at least I do. However, when a horror movie ends saying based on a true story, I know I'm not the only one that gets a little freaked out by that. It's just so much more terrifying knowing that what I just watched actually happened in real life. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, or the new girl, as people often refer to me as in the comments. How are you all doing today? I'm great, thanks for asking. I know, you probably didn't care, but I'm doing great. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the top 10 real scary stories that should be turned into movies. And seriously, there are some really good ones here. Now, if any of you decide to use my ideas and turn them into movies, please hire me as an actor in the film, and also credit me with supplying you with the idea. Thank you, it's appreciated. Starting off with number 10, The House with the Animals in the Walls. That literally sounds like a name of a horror movie that already exists. In 2015, the Bretzuis family was renovating their home and was planning on re-insulating their house. However, when they tore open the walls, they discovered it was lined with bodies of dead animals. These animals were wrapped in newspaper from the 1930s and 40s. Along with these animals, there were spices, artifacts, and other miscellaneous items in the wall. Apparently, all these items can be linked to powwow or Dutch magic, which is used to treat ailments or gain protection. Some of the items in the wall were linked to spells that promote the care of livestock, treatments for illnesses, and even used to conjure demons. They were living with these animals in the walls for several years, which in turn caused some of the family members to become ill and caused a constant odor in the house. Now, let me paint you a picture of the movie I'm imagining. Family moves into a house, maybe it was cheap real estate, but as they are living there, strange things start to occur, including them hearing scratching from inside the walls and seeing apparitions of demons. Eventually, they tear open the walls to investigate and find the animals, but also unleash some of the dark magic that was used in the time. I think I deserve an Oscar already. Moving on to number 9, we have the Tylenol killer. Tylenol is supposed to help you with pain, not cause you any. Well, in 1982, a number of deaths occurred due to someone lacing the drug with cyanide. Now, this was back in the day when drugs like these didn't come with a proper seal, there would just be a cotton ball shoved inside. 12-year-old Mary Kellerman was the first victim and died shortly after taking the pill. After that, 3 members of the Janus family all passed away after taking a Tylenol. More individuals continued to pass on unexplainably until a nurse discovered that it was from the tampered Tylenol. In fact, the pills were so strong that one capsule could have killed thousands. After investigating, they found that multiple Tylenol bottles were contaminated from different stores around Chicago. Now, officers believe that this was the works of Ted Kaczynski. He was a mathematical genius, but gave up that career and started to live a more darker life. He already has been convicted of 3 counts of murder. However, there is still no solid evidence pinning him to being the poisoner. Next, we have the Wych Elm tree at number 8. In 1943, 4 boys in Stourbridge, England located something odd in an old wych elm tree. Upon climbing up and looking in the tree, one boy discovered that a decomposed body of a young woman was stuffed inside. A gold wedding ring was on her left hand, while her right hand was sawed off. The hand was later discovered buried just below the tree. This woman was apparently 35 years of age and had apparently been in the tree for 18 months. Now, when this body was discovered, no one knew who it belonged to. That was until graffiti started appearing all around town. The graffiti wrote, "Who put Lubella down the wych elm?" This appeared on a wall in Old Hill. Then in Birmingham, another message appeared. Then another message at Witchbury Hill that read, "Who put Bella in the wych elm?" No one knows who was writing these messages, but it was assumed that they knew the victim as they identified her by her name. This message kept appearing all throughout England and Europe. Over time, police began to lose evidence and even misplaced her body. The case has never been solved, but the graffiti can still be found on some alleyways. At number 7, we have The Voices. Now, this woman was using a sleep app that basically runs all throughout the night and starts recording when it detects noise. In the morning, she was going through the recording when she could hear a voice talking. In the recording, you can hear a bunch of clicks that sound almost like footsteps, and then you can hear the woman say, "What are you doing?" That's in fact her own voice, but she doesn't remember saying that at all. What's even creepier is after that you hear the ghostly voice say, "Nothing." Like, they actually say the word nothing, they don't say nothing. And then you hear what sounds like either, "Oh, be still," or that's them. Either way, it is terrifying. And throughout the recording, the weird clicking noise is present. Now, she said that she eventually moved from that house and everything was fine, until her son started talking about seeing a dark figure with no face. Her son also kept asking where Ho was. She thinks that it's a spirit that he was seeing that apparently followed them to their new house. I think this would make a good movie. Just imagine a woman starts using this app to monitor sleep talking patterns when she discovers she's not the only one in the house. Dun dun dun. In our 6th spot, we have Hotel Monte Vista. The Monte Vista Hotel in Flagstaff, Arizona is known to be home to multiple paranormal entities. The hotel opened in 1927 and people have seen several ghosts, including a ghost of a bellboy, bank robber, and even a dancing couple. If you stay in room 220, then apparently the TV will change channels on its own. Even some people have felt cold hands touching them while they sleep. Now, the ghost of the bellboy will apparently knock on the door and even say room service, but will not be there when anyone checks. He could at least leave some food or something for them. Some guests have seen him outside of room 210 and described him dressed in an old-fashioned uniform with brass buttons. Now, in 1970, 3 men robbed a bank near the hotel, and afterwards they celebrated their robbery at the bar in the hotel. However, 1 robber was shot and bled to death in the hotel. People say that they see bar stools and drinks moving on their own. It is also said that 2 women were murdered in room 306 in the 1940s, and during the night they will place a hand over the guests' mouths and throats, making them wake up and not being able to breathe. They mainly target male guests. That's because they were murdered by male individuals. There's also a little boy that roams the hotel, and even a chair that rocks by itself in room 305. Sounds of baby crying in the basement and a dancing ghost couple. And the list continues. From its creepy history to the countless ghosts that roam the hall, this hotel would be a great basis for a movie. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Smiley Face Killer. The Smiley Face Killer got its name from leaving graffiti smiley faces at the scene of every crime. Now, they have made a documentary on it, but I think it would also make a good horror film. The killing started in 1997 and ended in 2008. Now, all of the victims were white, college-aged men. All of these victims were drowned and found with a smiley face graffitied nearby. Some people believe that they were murdered out of jealousy from being good looking or good in school or athletic. Now, some of the murders happened on the same night but in different areas, so detectives even believe that it was done by an organization or group of individuals. The cases also have other weird similarities. In 1997, Patrick McNeil was last seen drinking at a Manhattan bar when found drowned in the New York harbor. In 2016, Matthew Genovese was last seen at a pub drinking and was found drowned as well. Both of these victims were drinking prior to their death and also had no signs of foul play. Detectives believe it was just an accidental drowning and coincidence. But there were 45 deaths, all men around the same age, from death by drowning with a smiley face left at the scene. That's not a coincidence, it's murder. In 4th place, we have the phone stalker. In 2007 in Washington, numerous families reported receiving death threats over the phone. Apparently, the individual on the other end of the line knew way too much about these families and used it to their advantage. Now, some of these threats included the mystery phone person saying that they would kill their children, pets, or other family members. Every time they received a call, it would appear on their phone as restricted. Some families even received recordings of their own private conversations, even one that they had between a police detective. Apparently, the caller knows everything about these families, from what they're wearing, to the conversations that they've had, to where they are. They believe that this caller was using their own cell phones to spy on them, and they managed to do so even when the phone was off. One family by the name of the Q Kendall family even changed all their phones and numbers, and the caller was still able to contact them. This person tormented the family for months. When they got a new security system installed in their house, this caller called them and commented on how they knew their passcode and could enter their house. This continued until one day the torment just stopped. But the caller was never caught. That would definitely make a good stalker movie. This person has some Joe from the Netflix show You vibes, that's for sure. Coming in at number 3, we have the Circleville Writer. In 1976, individuals in Circleville, Ohio started receiving handwritten letters from a mysterious person. Now, similar to the phone stalker case, this anonymous person knew personal details about these individuals. However, there weren't any cell phones that they could use to tap into. Yet they claim to always be watching these individuals. In one of these letters written to a woman named Mary Gillispie, she was accused of having an affair with the school's superintendent. She worked with the school as a school bus driver. Her letter read, "I know where you live. I've been observing your house. I know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it seriously." Then Mary's husband Ron received a letter informing him that he would be in danger if he didn't stop the affair. Mary continued to get more letters. Another one read, "Mary, you have had 2 weeks and done nothing. Admit the truth and inform the school board. If not, I will broadcast it on CBS, posters, signs, and billboards until the truth comes out." Shortly after, the letters stopped. Until August 17th in 1997, when Ron received a phone call from this writer. As a result, he got in his car with a gun and headed out. He passed away later that day from crashing into a tree, and his gun had been fired. No one knows why or how this happened. The notes continued to terrorize this family all throughout 1983. Some were even addressed to Mary's daughter. The Circleville writer went to the extreme when one day Mary was driving the bus down the normal route when she saw signs exposing her had been placed throughout the route. When she went to remove them, she saw that it was rigged with a gun. Therefore, if she would have gotten rid of the sign in a certain way, the gun would have gone off and killed her. Now, this gun was linked to her former brother-in-law, Paul Fresher. Paul claimed he was innocent, but was still sentenced to 7 to 25 years in jail. However, he was not the Circleville letter writer. And in fact, he started to receive notes too while in jail. One letter wrote, "Now when are you going to believe you aren't going to get out of here? I told you 2 years ago, when we set them up, they stay set up. Don't you listen at all?" So he was set up by the Circleville writer. To this day, no one knows who the writer was. Now, when I was reading about this, I thought it would make a great film about a man who targets people who have sinned and forces them into confessing, or else he kills them. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's already been made, but I mean, it's a pretty solid idea in my opinion. Coming in at our second spot, we have the Pollock twins. So this starts off on the more sad side. On May 7th, 1957, two sisters named Joanna, age 11, and Jacqueline, age 6, were hit by a car on their way to church. The parents, Florence and John Pollock, were grief-stricken, but the father always remained hopeful, saying that his daughters would come back to them, even saying that they were going to be reborn in the form of twins. Well, in 1958, Florence gave birth to 2 twin girls, just as her husband predicted. They named them Jillian and Jennifer. Now, the weirdness doesn't stop there. Apparently, these twins had eerie resemblances to their previous daughters. Jillian was more slender, just like Joanna was, and Jennifer was more stocky, just like how Jacqueline was. Furthermore, Jennifer had trouble writing because she would hold the pencil in her fist. That was exactly how Jacqueline would write as well. The twins also asked for the same toys that Joanna and Jacqueline had, even naming the dolls the same. That's not all. Jennifer had the same birthmark on her waist that Jacqueline had, and Jennifer had a birthmark on her forehead that was the same spot where Jacqueline had a scar. The girls were also terrified of cars and crossing the street. There are so many more resemblances between the twins and the daughters that passed away. Like how the girls once were caught playing and were talking about an accident that killed Joanna and Jacqueline, saying details that they couldn't have known, especially since the parents kept the past from them. Wow. What do you guys think of this one? In our number 1 spot, we have the death of Elisa Lam. Now, this is a truly scary story enough on its own. Elisa Lam was on vacation staying at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. This 21-year-old Canadian was traveling by herself, journaling about her travels along the way. On January 31st, that was the last time she had been seen. Now, the only lead that we have is from the elevator surveillance footage. This shows her final moments before her disappearance. Now, this footage is quite disturbing. She is seen behaving out of character. She is talking to herself, moving her hands randomly, pressing random elevator buttons, opening and closing the elevator doors, and peering around the elevator corner. A few days later, hotel guests reported the water in their hotel rooms was running black, and they claimed that the tap water was tasting weird. On February 19th, Elisa's body was found rotting and bare in the water tank on the hotel's roof. Her death was labeled as accidental drowning, but everyone believes otherwise. Now, in order for Elisa to have gotten into the water tank, she would have had to gone up to the 15th floor, taken a staircase up to the roof, and turned off the roof alarm. From there, she would have had to climb onto the platform where the hotel's water tanks are, and then up another ladder to get to the tank that she was found in. Now, how did she do this undetected? Especially since the roof has an alarm system and was locked. As a result, people believe that she was possessed or that she was playing the elevator game. The elevator game is said to be the world's most dangerous game. Basically, you have to be in an elevator that has at least 10 floors. When you're in the elevator, you have to press the floor buttons in a specific order. After doing so, you press the 5th floor and a woman will enter the elevator with you. This woman is not alive and it is deadly if you look or talk to her. Then you are supposed to go to the 10th floor, which brings you to another dimension. Sounds like a pretty terrifying horror movie to me. Let me add that this story took place in the Cecil Hotel, which has a grim past already. Richard Ramirez committed 14 murders and lived on the 14th floor in 1985. Jack Unterweger was another killer that stayed in the hotel, and in 1962 a female host guest jumped out of the hotel's window to her death. So yeah, this hotel alone is a good place to base a movie off of. There's just so much in the history. And that's all for today. I definitely would be down to watch some of those if they were made into movies. Who knows? Maybe even I'll turn one of them into a movie one day. Now, as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below which one of these stories you would want to see made into a movie, and don't forget to subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos.